All right, welcome to our monthly mindset reset. Christy and I spent a lot of time trying to decide what we thought would be a fantastic follow-up to go along with overcoming negative self-talk. And we picked boundaries.
Beautiful boundaries.
Beautiful boundaries.
They
Setting.
sound so much better than just boundaries.
I know. Yeah, right? Way to
Yeah.
dress it up. But 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 boundaries are healthy, boundaries are necessary. They make a huge difference in our mental health, which is what this is all about, mindset and everything. Still, there's a few things that we probably have to overcome in order to set them, and that is why we have created this presentation today.
Woo, presentation.
All right, there we go.
So pretty.
I think this is gonna. All right, not gonna lie to you, have not done this presentation mode. I did it once and it
You can
frustrated
use
me.
you can use your arrow on your keyboard just to move it to the next one, I think.
Really?
Try it.
Let's find out.
No?
I can.
I'm useful sometimes.
You are so useful. All right. You want to do odds?
I can do odds.
Perfect.
So the first one we have highlighted here is identify your needs. You need to ask yourself what is important to you and what you need to feel comfortable, respected, and safe. You need to put your needs first when somebody's asking you if you can do something for them. So if it means you miss a deadline, you miss time with your family, then it's something that you really shouldn't be taking on, because you have to think about your own needs as well. And I think a lot of us push them to one side and say, yes, we can do this. Yes, it doesn't matter that I'm going to miss my birthday party. But I think it's something that we do need to really take into consideration.
Yeah, definitely. I think that we're really good, some of us, at being martyrs, at, like we just are like, okay, I'm totally willing to sacrifice my needs for the, good of other people, or possibly to even like avoid conflict, that sometimes you just go, okay, it's just easier to say yes. But
Definitely, that's my life.
So the challenge in setting these boundaries, of course, is being able to clearly communicate these needs. So you've identified your needs. Now you have to clearly communicate it. So communicate your boundaries. Don't be afraid to be assertive, and use I statements. Okay. Because of course, the minute you turn it on somebody else with the you, then of course it turns into an argument. Don't make it about the other person, make it about what you need. So like, I need some alone time right now, instead of you're suffocating me. Or the one that I used last night, or not last night, the other night. I love my family. I love my family, but they are a loud bunch. Sam and Kenna together playing, oh my Lord, like headache, right? And I just finally had to say, I need some quiet time, like I need quiet. So and it worked. Instead of going, you're driving me crazy, you're too loud, you're this, I went, I need some quiet, and that actually worked. So see,
Yeah,
this.
no, it's something, I don't think it's something that I use or I say very often. So I wonder if I can say I need a bottle of wine. Would that work?
I think I mean, there's a boundary there. Like your life without wine, that's the boundary. Okay.
I might try that one, yeah. Okay, so be consistent. It sounds like it's something that will be quite easy, but actually it's not very easy. So stick to your boundaries consistently, even when it may be difficult or uncomfortable. I know there's been many a time where we feel uncomfortable and under pressure that we would then turn around and agree to do something. This will help others understand that your boundaries are important to you and that you are serious about them. So if you say, I finish working at 5 o'clock on a Friday, then you need to be consistent and don't allow people to book any time in your calendar for that time. Block it out so nobody can book that time, and say to people, like, I finish on a Friday. For me, my last meeting brings me to 6:30. So if it goes over that, I'm like, okay, it's Friday wine time. I need, this is my time. So on a Friday evening, I don't allow anybody to book anything in after that time.
Mhm.
And I think it's important because if you do it regularly and people ask for the same for that time, for example, and they'll soon understand when you say no every time that I need my alone time with my wine on a Friday.
Mhm. I agree. I think, I've had to get better about the problem that I was inconsistent with was I would answer Facebook messages on off time, like because I'd feel guilty because I'd think,
Yeah.
they can see that I'm on or whatever. But just because I'm on doesn't mean I have to be on work. You know what I
And
mean?
just because you're on doesn't mean you're in Messenger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I have my Facebook open, but I don't go into it maybe even twice a night
Mm-hmm.
just to have a nosy. But I wouldn't necessarily be using it for work purposes
Right.
at that
Exactly.
point, and I think that's that's actually a good one. You see people who reply at weekends, and then you see companies or businesses that don't, and it doesn't lose them any business because people know the boundaries that they've set, and that they won't be replying on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yes. Set consequences. Now, this is like parenting, but parenting your friends and your family and everything else, because there needs to be consequences for boundary violations. And, if someone violates your boundaries, a lot of times it means things like limiting your time with them or, ending the relationship altogether. If, for example, we had, I, true story, I had a person I used to babysit for when I was in high school. And if I didn't answer the phone immediately when she would call to, try to book me for babysitting, and this was after we had caller ID, and her kids were, oh my God, the kids were like, I was like, no, there's no amount of money. And so she would just drive over to my house and be like, hi, I need you to babysit. And I'd be like, finally, I just had to go, yeah, I'm not babysitting anymore. Nope, done. Because it was too much. So
Yeah.
you have to like it did it hurt my income? Yeah, I mean, like a little tiny bit, but not enough for it to like it helped my mental health more than it hurt my
Yeah,
income.
you do have to, if you're going as far as you're setting that boundary and you're saying no, it's not going to happen. There
Mhm.
has to be some consequence if people try and do it, but also a consequence to yourself in a way because you're allowing it to happen.
Mhm. And I
You
mean,
know,
I think that we've seen examples. We've both done this with business too, where we have certain ways that we do things, and if people don't want to do them that way, then I mean, I refund the money, and I just go, I'm
yeah,
sorry, this is not a good fit. You're gonna
yeah,
have to work with somebody else
yeah.
because I, yeah.
Practice self-care. I'm not really sure this is one that I should read out because I don't tend to um have any time for self-care, but taking care of yourself is an essential part of setting healthy boundaries. Make time for self-care activities like exercise, meditation, or hobbies that bring you joy and relaxation. So, my true story. Last year I decided that I wanted to read every morning while I was having my very first cup of tea in the morning. I would read because I didn't have time to read. So I thought I will take that time. And I read consistently for about 150 days. And some days I'd read in the evening as well. And I was really proud of myself. And then I realized that a part of my business was not being dealt with on a regular basis. So I changed my routine so that instead of reading in the morning, I looked after this part of the business that was kind of causing trouble. So now I work on that business for the first hour while I'm having my cup of tea instead of reading. And I haven't picked up my Kindle in quite a few months actually. I'd say a good 3 months. And that's sad. And that's where I need to say, okay, I need to go back to reading in the morning. It's something I enjoy when I'm waking up in the morning. You know, I don't really want to get stuck straight into the business part because I'm sure I'm not thinking straight. And I wish that I had made the time, and maybe after today, I might change that routine.
I think that's a really smart thing to do. I have been trying desperately and I'm still not good at it, but I'm trying. Like self-care, the self-care activities. I find that my mood is better if I take a little me time in the morning.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, and don't get me wrong, you know that we both love our businesses. We both love
Yeah.
helping people. We both love, you know, pretty much everything about it. Except that the things that always require our attention first thing in the morning are the things that are the most draining because it's obviously a fire to put out or a problem to solve
Yeah.
or whatever. And sometimes I like to ease into my day
Yeah.
before it
Yeah.
slaps me around a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, so that's the thing. So I've tried to do things that are going to protect my mindset and like elevate me a little bit more so that I'm in a better mood. Like,
Yeah, and that it's quite like, I know I would be have my cup of tea for maybe 3/4 of an hour.
mhm.
Is anything going to burn down in that 3/4 of an hour that I can't do when I start my day in my office upstairs?
Yeah.
No. Like, I'm definitely reading tomorrow morning.
You deserve it.
I am.
Remember,
Yes,
you
I am going to
serve,
read tomorrow morning.
you serve, you
And
deserve.
it's not going to be a proofread or an edit either. It's going to be
Exactly.
something I want to read. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's so important. So important.
I sing and dance in the shower. I pick my song, I pick my soundtrack. The first song I pick, like in the
Yeah.
morning, sets my mood for the day. Today I decided I was going to be in a little bit in beast mode. So yeah, it was Eminem.
Okay.
And yeah, uh-huh. Didn't expect that from me, did you?
No, I
Um,
did.
it's yes, yes. So yes, but I had someone tell me that to keep my mood up to, you know, find my music, find my soundtrack, you know, for the day. It was Lisa, our
Yeah.
Lisa.
I need
And
to do
so
that actually. Find
yeah,
myself at work.
and so I set my day by picking some music and, you know, singing and dancing in the shower while I'm getting, you know, ready, and
Good
that's a good
idea.
way. So
Mm.
this now I can't believe this one landed on me. Learn to say no. Mm,
I
say
think you're
no.
better at saying no than I am, though.
But it is an acquired skill. It does not come naturally. It would almost physically pain me to tell people no and set boundaries. Like, because I would literally go, like, even now, if somebody has me on a call, like did not finish up with the person that I do 3 days of three
Yeah.
consecutive days. Okay. Because we need to find more time every single time where it's taking us about 13 and a half hours per book. The question became, could I do three, no, it's not 13 and a half, it's about 10 and a half hours. Okay. So the question became, instead of doing 3 3-hour sessions in a row, could I do 3 4-hour sessions in a row? And I went, no, absolutely not.
It's draining.
I mean, it's exhaust, it's mentally, it's so much
Yeah.
mentally.
Yeah.
So practice saying no to requests or invitations or things. And it's, you know, like I think that the hard part for us is because some people, you know, some people will be like, oh, okay. And then other people will be like, but why not? You don't have to
Yeah.
give a why. You don't
Yeah.
have to give a why. And somebody who is rude enough to ask you why not, you can go
Yeah.
ahead and tell them you don't want to. You just go, I don't want to, you know, like, yeah, not
This
doing
this
it.
has always been a problem for me, is the saying no. And I know when I was, even when I was micromanaged in my other job, and they'd always say, you just take everything on, and I do, and I still in my job
Uh-huh.
now, I take everything on, and I don't turn around and say, no, I don't have time to do that. It's like, yeah, okay, give it to me, or yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, yeah, no problem. And then I come home really stressed after trying to fit in 8 or 9 hours into a 5 6 hour day. You
Right?
know, um,
Weird.
they're gonna see a new Chrissy tomorrow.
They're not going to like her, but they're going to see her.
I actually said no to something yesterday, in fairness, at work, first time, and my boss looked at me and he went, I didn't mean anything by it. And I went, no, I'm not having anything to do with it. I said, I'm not going to set that computer up. I said, somebody else can do it. And he didn't know what to say to me because it was the first time I said no.
In
So
how
he
many
just kind of
years?
moved on to something else.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I know. This is the hardest part for people who are used to, like, because, you know, you become the go-to. And then it's like all
Yeah,
of a sudden,
exactly. Respect others' boundaries. I think, like, there are a lot of people who don't respect other people's boundaries. Um, so because we have the right to set our own, of course, other people have the right to set theirs too. Um, but also respect them, but be mindful of how your actions may impact them. I.e., what Nicole was just talking about, an extra hour over 3 days, or on each of 3 consecutive days, your mind is going to mush after 3. So another hour on top of that, you're not going to be producing as good work as if you were doing it for a shorter period of time. You know, when somebody's asking you, or you ask somebody to do something and they say no, or they explain why they can't do it, or actually, no, I have somewhere to go, or no, I finish it in 5 minutes, it's going to take me 15 minutes, then you have to respect that, because you want people to respect your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really important.
Seek support. Now, Christine will tell you that she is probably the one that I turn to all the time and go, okay, so I just did this. Was this really bad? Was this wrong? Like, you know, or I will actually, like, how many times before I set the boundary or whatever, do I send you something and say, I'm about to send this. Will you reread this for me before I send it? Because I just, yeah. So, so I do this, you know, because sometimes I and this is my little tip for you when setting boundaries, don't, if you are in a situation where you do not, like, somebody's not seeing your face, or like you don't have to respond immediately, you know, kind of thing, and like you can tell sometimes when somebody is about to break your boundary because the way you feel in your gut, and you're just like, oh. So yeah, so just, you know, like if you can, you know, get out what you need to get out, but then like wait and reread before you respond, because sometimes, like, because in the world of screenshots and online, you know, like they never die. And also because, you know, you don't want to say something that you will regret that you can't take back. So that's why, you know, I try to think before.
And I think, as well as, you know, read it later before you send it, get up and move away from the computer or the phone and just have a breather, because that will help you to calm and think logically rather than emotionally, because you know, we would all kind of tend to react emotionally to some requests to break our boundaries, you know. So we need to look at it from a self-care and, you know, business point of view as well, that no, we can't do that, and this is the reason why. It's not because I don't want to do it for you because it's you, it's because XYZ. And you know, sometimes just taking a step away and taking a breather can make a big difference as well.
Yes.
Let go of guilt. How did I get this one? Because, like, I'm always so guilty. I feel so guilty all the time. It's common to feel guilty when setting boundaries. I know that one so well, especially if you're used to putting others' needs first. Yes, I'll take that on board, no time. Remember that setting boundaries is an act of self-care. I think we just covered that. And you deserve to prioritize your own needs. It's a very difficult thing to let go of the guilt. I always tell people I'm a Libran, you know, the scales. Like, I talk myself into an argument and out of an argument, and I still don't know which way to go. And when I want to say no to somebody, I think of how it makes them feel, or, you know, oh, maybe I should have done that. And like, I would constantly feel guilty for saying no, for a reason that I really should be saying no. There's no yes about it, but I would feel extremely guilty about stuff like that. And it's hard to get over that.
I, you know, sometimes have been notorious for, you know, taking the path of least resistance, like just dealing with whatever, because, you know, it's like things around the house, you know, there have been, so I have been in keep it clean enough to be healthy, but it doesn't look like model home, you know, because
It's a home.
It's a home, and B, the amount of energy I expend just to keep it looking like this, forget about, like, you know, I mean, so that, and I have, and those of us who are married probably have a spouse who does things like, I clean Ken's room, like nothing goes without being done, like nothing gets done without it being commented, you know, like Cool. Let me get that ticker tape parade together for you because,
Yeah, I have to admit, in my house, my husband does all the cleaning and all the washing and everything, so I can't really, like, he gives out to me that I didn't put a spoon away or something. But a lot of that is because of illness over the last 12 years, you know, and I sometimes my body physically can't do things. And we've got to the situation where he does it because he knows I can't do it. So it's a little bit different for me, but that makes me feel guilty too.
things like, see, I've like some of this stuff I've let go because like it used to bother me and I used to take it like as a jab, like, oh, you're, I'm doing stuff and you're not. And then I was like, yes, but I also cleaned up cat puke 4 times today. I did I'm the one who makes sure there's actually
I
food
write
in
it
the
on the
fridge.
board.
Like I'm the one who makes sure there's actually food in the fridge for us to eat. Nobody's taking care of that. I make sure that we had clean clothes and that they got switched over to the dry, because he's notorious for like he'll start the laundry and then just like
Yeah.
I got tired of, so I just, like the thing, I made sure the cats had their food and they got their, I mean, like there's 400 little like kinds, and so then I thought about that. And I'm like, I don't announce all that. And, so it is what it is. All right. Last one. Celebrate those successes. So every time you successfully set and maintain a healthy boundary, it's going to make you feel more confident in your ability to set boundaries in the future. And that, like you can build on success. You can't like sometimes the hardest part is starting from nothing, but once you start, it kind of steamrolls. It's like the snowball effect, it just keeps growing bigger and bigger until like, you've really got something there to work with. So this is one of those practice makes it's never going to be perfect. It's going to be practice makes it better, like that kind of thing. So that now, all right. The other thing that we have for you today, the Beautiful Boundaries Journal. Okay, I absolutely love this thing. I think it is so, so, so important because, it's just so important. This is a great way to start practicing it. So we have 2 versions for you. One is fillable, one is printable, of course. Okay, she's adorable. And I'm gonna see, this is the printable one. So let me double check real quick. I'm gonna have to double check. We may only have a printable version for you right now. I may have uploaded the wrong one. I will double check on that and see what's up. But regardless, we definitely have the printable version for you. And so in here, there are a whole lot of prompts, and it kind of is going to help you think about the things that we talked about, establishing boundaries. Think about a time when, you wanted to say no and you didn't. And I love this part because like, if your 90-year-old self would have witnessed this, what would they have done differently? I am telling you, the older you get, the less you care what other people think. You know what I mean? Like, this is where I'm at, like my happiness matters too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like that. And so
I think it's good to look, sorry to interrupt you.
yeah,
I think it's good to look back at situations and analyze how you could have done it differently, because we're on autopilot a lot of the time and you just keep doing stuff. And I think if you stop and look at it, then you might actually the next time say, actually, no,
there is
so I think it's good to do that.
there's a whole neuroscience to this, that you are reprogramming your brain for how to handle future situations so that you do it better, because you're kind of practicing. When you're doing this, you're practicing for how you should be doing it in the future. And then when you have that built in and you're able to work from there, it's like, I was reading something this morning about people who are autistic, that a lot of them have scripts for conversations so that they can, that they're comfortable, they can have conversations, whatnot, that, as long as you stick to the script, they're okay. And, so And I thought that that was really interesting because it's the practicing of the habit that you want to establish that helps
Yeah.
you to, you know, have the experience that you want to have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, so there's lots of pages in here for writing on, and you know, it's like think about that too. Like why, you know, was somebody, when was the last time somebody was upset with you because you set a boundary, you know, or said no? And then, you know, part of it is like sometimes it makes you realize that somebody who's going to get upset with you because you said no is not necessarily somebody you need to have in your life. If somebody doesn't understand that you know, need space, you need time, you need this, you need that, then if somebody doesn't care about your needs, is that a friend? Is that, you know, um, and I think personally the hardest ones are the ones with family, like setting boundaries with family.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um, so anyway, just
Hence me cutting my mother off on a call.
right. I mean, like these are hard sometimes, like when I, you know, but yeah. So go ahead, and you've got like this whole journal, and you know, use it and really kind of think about like practice setting boundaries and everything, so that because we want you happy, we want you happy, we want you healthy, we don't want you burned out. So hopefully this will help. All right.
Yeah, love it. And
All
it's so
right.
pretty.
So have a nice rest of the day, and download your copy, and we'll talk soon.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.